Good morning, everyone. I've got a touch of bronchitis, so apologies if I start coughing while I'm doing this, but I am going to be away from school today and tomorrow, but should be back on Wednesday, so I'm translating this for you and hope that this comes in useful. It may be slightly different to the translation that you have in the Green Book. I just had to find one that I could put online, and I needed to find one on the internet, obviously, so I hope it's relatively close to what you have in the Green Book. Quod ubi Caesar animad vertit. There we go, there's the start of it. So, ubi, when Caesar, connecting relative, when Caesar noticed this, you then need to go all of the way down to the end of the sentence to find that Jussit, he ordered the naves longas. So as soon as you see the naves longas, you've got to remember that in Latin you've got to look at the endings, and then you've got to think to yourself, well, if it's accusative, I've got to make it the object. So I've got to find, obviously, my main verb, go right down to the end, don't change it around. If it's the object, leave it as the object. He ordered the longships, or I suppose we said the warships, quarum, of which both the species, I think this bit might be a little bit different from your green books, both the appearance was erat inusitatior, was unfamiliar to the barbaris, to the barbarians, and whose motion was expeditior, was more was faster, literally for its use. Removere, to be passive infinitive, to be moved. Paulum, a little, to be removed, a little, from the honoraris nauvibus, from the transport ships, and to incitare, press on, I suppose we could say, to literally to go fast with their oars, to move on at speed with their oars, and to constitui, and to then what do we want to say? To row at speed, and then to halt on the constitui, on the exposed apertum, on the open latus flank, towards the open flank of the enemy, and from there to drive, propelli, and to somovere, and to force them off with fundis, slings, arrows, and tormentis, with slings, arrows, and I suppose missiles, and I suppose actually, and that the enemy be propelli, driven off and moved back with fundis, with slings, arrows, and artillery. Nam, for the quares, connecting relative, just before I get to that, quares. This event was of fuit. This event was of magno. I know it might this might sound strange, but fuit, don't forget, it's not from fio. Fuit is the perfect tense of sum, of est. So and we would just translate it as was rather than has been most of the time. But don't forget that, because some people do. So here, this matter was of great use to nostris, to our men. Don't forget that word nostris, our men in Caesar, how important it is. For the shape of the ships, and the and we would say there, the shape for the, what do we want to say? For, oh, actually, maybe we change it around. For the barbari, yeah, so I think we'll change that around, actually. For the barbarians, permoti, frightened off by the shape of the ships and the movement of the oars, and this inusitato, and this unfamiliar type of artillery, and the inusitato, and the unfamiliar genere type of artillery, constituerent, halted, and returerent, withdrew their step a little, and I suppose just retreated, modo, only a little bit. Atque. But our men, still lingering, delaying, but with our men still lingering, on account, propter, of the maxime, on account of the, I'm going to cough again, sorry, but our men lingering, mostly, maxime, for the most part, on account of the depth of the sea, propter altitudine maris, qui he who was bearing the legion of the eagle of the 10th legion, so the man who was carrying the eagle bearer of the 10th legion, having prayed contestatus Deus, having prayed to the gods, ut, indirect command here, that matters, that the matter rather, that the event eveniret, turn out well, feliciter, turn out happily, for the legion, said, desilite, again, I love this, that the soldier reflects the troops, that reflects Caesar. Desilite, jump down, desilite, jump down, soldiers, nisi, unless vultis, you want to prodere, hand over the eagle to the enemies. Ego, this is the kind of loyalty that Caesar obviously encourages draws from his soldiers. Ego, I, certainly for my part, will do my officium, my duty to the Republic and to the general. So, I, at any rate, will have done my duty, certainly, to my Republic and my general. Yeah, I shall have done my duty. I, for my part, shall have done my duty to the Republic and to the general. Hoc cum, when he had said this with a great voice, projecit se, he threw himself down from the ship, and he began to bear the eagle against the enemies. Then, tum nostri, our troops, having encouraging one another, not to allow, in direct command, ne, encouraging, cohortati, even though it's perfect active participle, I'm making it present in my translation, encouraging one another, not to, in direct command, admitteretur, not to allow, or literally that such disgrace ought not to be allowed, imperfect passive subjunctive, universi, altogether, desideruant, jump down from the ship. So it's getting a little bit difficult to read. Hos item ex proximis. And when, on the other hand, the troops on the nearest ships saw them, and when those men on the nearest ships, from the nearest ships, saw these men, item, so item, and when those on the nearest ships had seen host these men, subsecuti, having followed on, likewise, they appropriquarunt, they drew near to the enemies. Very well done, everyone. Hopefully, this will save properly and help you today.